Hey, it's Cathy. In this video, we're going to be talking about how fast fashion and luxury are beginning to converge. The way in which many of us are consuming luxury and fast fashion makes it hard to distinguish between the two. Let's get started with this conversation. So sometime last year, I lost all interest in watching luxury unboxing videos. Before this time, every time somebody posted a luxury unboxing video, I was all on it. I think I lost a desire for luxury unboxings in the summer, right around the time when all of our favorite luxury YouTubers and influencers were unboxing their first Hermès Birkin and creating content about their Hermès journey. The Hermès journey videos started feeling like the Shein apocalypse. For those of you who don't know, Shein is a fast fashion retailer. The prices at Shein are very, very low. I don't know very much about Shein's labor practices, but I do know that the pricing is a tad bit too low for me to feel comfortable buying it. At Shein, you can get a shirt for $10, $15. So influencers were spending $500 to $1,000 at Shein. Even if I round up the prices of items at Shein to $20, you're getting 50 items. People were doing entire unboxing videos of this Shein haul, and it became called the Shein apocalypse. The feeling that a lot of people got about the Shein apocalypse is the same feeling I got about the Hermès Birkin journey apocalypse of summer of 2021. Before I get deep into it, let's back up. I always like to define certain terms because I think luxury and even fast fashion is a very nebulous term. We all use it, but what exactly does it mean? So from the Oxford Dictionary, luxury is an unessential desirable item which is expensive or difficult to obtain. Similar to an Hermès Birkin bag. I have one friend, I think when I said, what is luxury to you? They were like, something that costs a lot of money but shouldn't. I think for luxury, you pay for three things. The first thing you're paying for is higher quality materials. It's usually like silk or some natural fabric, high quality leathers, what have you. You're also paying for skilled artisans. So basically somebody who's studied for a very long time under somebody else. For example, an Hermès Birkin bag is handmade by one skilled artisan, and I think it takes them 40 hours to make the bag. You are also paying for the design. Luxury designers are paying somebody to come up with unique designs that no one's ever seen before. Those three things make up the price of luxury for me. The reason why it's so cheap for brands like Shein or even Zara to make something is that they're not paying to come up with anything unique. What often is happening is that fast fashion brands will get the design for a higher end brand, take it to their design team and say, okay, I want you to replicate this, but for $5 or $20, whatever the price point. Let's define fast fashion. Fast fashion is a term used to describe the clothing industry business model of replicating recent catwalk trends and high fashion design, mass producing them at low cost and bringing them to retail stores quickly while demand is the highest. So fast fashion, low cost, lower quality of products. Sometimes there's no skill involved because these items are mass produced. Don't get it twisted. I'm not gonna sit here and poo-poo fast fashion because I do still wear Zara. I'm trying to break up with her this year and never speak to her again. But until that time, I still am a lover of Zara. I like being able to interpret trends on my own. I, like most people, don't have the budget to purchase Chanel ready to wear at full price. Everybody can afford fast fashion. The reason a lot of people love fast fashion, it essentially democratizes fashion and trends. Fast fashion currently, in addition to the affordability, it also gives people instant gratification. Jacquemus could send something down the runway on a Monday, and about 1 to 10 days later, Zara can have an almost exact dupe of it headed to the stores. So the main problem with fast fashion is it's seen as disposable. When I buy things from Zara, I try to buy what I would consider higher quality items like blazers and things like that. Truthfully, a lot of fast fashion is made to be disposable. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, clothing was made from fabrics that were designed to withstand washing. One thing about fast fashion, it's made of lesser quality fabrics. The problem is you don't know how many wears you're gonna get out of this item. Luxury items are meant to last for a very long time. So I think initially fast fashion was created to be almost the opposite of luxury. While luxury was made slowly out of high quality materials, fast fashion items were made more quickly and from lower quality materials. When I was a kid, my sister loved fashion magazines like Vogue and Elle. I definitely remember her buying the September issues, and I knew what Chanel and a lot of these other brands were just because I saw them in a magazine. I never really saw real people wearing them, so I just thought it was something that celebrities wore. Of course, everybody talks about Sex and the City. Sex and the City was the first time I saw real women wearing Fendi bags, Birkin bags, Dior bags, all kinds of luxury handbags. And luxury bags went from being something that only celebrities wore to something a real woman could carry. Brands still give luxury items to celebs, but I feel like brands have started using influencer marketing more and more. I think brands were able to look and see what happened with Sex and the City and how seeing certain luxury brands on television made regular women feel like it was accessible to them. We're now in the influencer marketing era. Brands are currently using influencers to market everything from underwear, home goods, and even luxury handbags. I totally understand why brands are doing it, because back when celebrities were doing all of the marketing, I always felt like a lot of luxury items were just out of my reach. They were aspirational, but I never felt like I could get these items. Now that brands are using real people, look like us, that have similar lifestyles than us, it makes them so relatable that we feel like, okay, if Jane over here can afford this Chanel bag, so can I. I'll just say, whoever came up with influencer marketing is a genius. Influencer marketing, for the most part, is a win-win for brands because they get content made at a cheaper price. With celebrities, oftentimes, there was the fear that you were going to alienate your customers. With influencer marketing and that relatability, you don't have that problem. Although I love influencer marketing, this summer I also noticed one of the downsides of influencer marketing. Because people can relate to the influencers who are regular people, you get to a point where after you start seeing your favorite influencer unboxing 3 Hermès bags in a row, they almost start to lose their relatability, or you start feeling like, how are you able to do this? There's an incident this summer in the Black girl luxury community where I feel like it was Hilo Lux, Karen Britt Chick, and a few others got backlash. They were doing a lot of luxury unboxings back to back. People started questioning, how are you able to afford all of this? The people asking the influencers this question were other Black women. I think that influencers were a little taken aback, and they felt like, you would never question a white woman's ability to buy a luxury handbag, but why are you questioning mine? Truthfully, what I think was the heart of the matter was that a lot of people felt like, you and I are the same. Why are you able to do this, and why can't I? And what I don't think a lot of people realize is influencers make a ton of money. Karen Britt Chick and Hilo Lux both were on record saying that they made $1 million last year off of YouTube influencer deals, their Amazon drop lines, etc. So they made more money in 1 year than most of us did. Also, being an influencer, you're allowed to write off almost everything you consume. If you buy an $11,000 Hermès Birkin 30, and then you take that bag and you make YouTube videos, TikToks, Reels, all forms of content using that bag, you can then write that bag off. Being able to deduct a $12,000 bag is not something that you and I could do. I bring this point up to just basically say we are not the same. Civilians like you and me who are not making $1 million off of being an influencer, we can't compare ourselves to influencers. It's apples and oranges. You know, some of you who are watching may have made $1 million, but you're not able to write it off in the same way that they are. Social media has tricked us into feeling like we're exactly like the influencers. We're not. These influencers are now the new celebrities. So how do fast fashion and luxury converge? At one time, luxury items were made very slowly. When I was a kid reading fashion magazines, most brands were only showing new designs for spring, summer, and autumn, winter. A lot of brands started adding cruise shows just because they had a lot of wealthy clients who would go on vacation during the winter months and needed summer clothes while they're on vacation. Brands like Chanel are putting out 8 collections a year. That's a lot when you compare it to like 2 to 3, maybe 20 years ago. I understand why luxury brands are doing this. Anyone who's into fashion has always had an appetite for luxury design. Fast fashion has made that appetite more ferocious, in my opinion. People don't want to wait twice a year for designs. I feel like fast fashion brands started making things so quickly that other brands had to follow suit. One of the hallmarks of luxury is that things are often handmade by skilled artists. Y'all know I love Chanel, but Chanel is no longer handmade. Hermès is one of the few that's sticking to their guns and continuing to be handmade by skilled artisans. Even brands like Louis Vuitton, they're notoriously made in France, are starting to have items made in the US and other places. Another way that fast fashion and luxury are converging is with the materials. I love vintage Chanel. I have a friend who loves new Chanel, and whenever she buys a new Chanel item, she always shows it to me. And I often compare the quality of the new item with older vintage items. The vintage items, even though they're 20 years old, the leather is almost always a better quality. Even if you compare a bag that's 9 to 10 years old compared to the items that are in store now, they're just not the same. Chanel is still a luxury brand because of their reputation. Chanel is a unique animal. If I recall correctly, the Chanel medium classic flap has gone up at least $2,000 since the pandemic occurred. I feel like Chanel is really testing their customers to see how much of a price increase can we do before we alienate you. I'm comparing Chanel to Hermès. Hermès bags are handmade by a skilled artisan, gold-plated, palladium-plated. They're using higher quality items. Older Chanel bags were either 24 or 18 karat gold-plated. That's not the case. And the third way that I think fast fashion and luxury are converging is how we're consuming it. In the 80s, 90s, and early aughts, luxury was being produced at a slower pace, so people were only being able to consume bags at the rate at which they were being produced. Now it's 2020, and the rate at which luxury is being created is so much faster, and it's being consumed at a faster rate. And now we have influencers that they're able to buy luxury handbags that they can either write off, or they're being gifted luxury handbags that they can wear once or twice and that they can just discard, whether it be selling or donating to charity. Back in the 90s, it was very hard to find a luxury bag resale. You had to know somebody. We didn't have the internet, so you could just look up a Chanel Classic flap in the medium size and see who has it in the entire US. I almost feel like because luxury influencers feel like normal people, the rate at which they consume luxury is making quote unquote regular people feel like this rate of consumption is normal. So about luxury versus fast fashion, I do understand they're two separate things. I don't think they're ever going to become the same thing. I don't know if they're ever going to be as far apart as they were before, though. We have trained luxury brands into believing that we want items as fast as they can make it. We've not given brands like Chanel any incentive to give us better quality. We've told Chanel, we want as much as you can make as fast as possible. We don't care of the quality. I don't think brands like Chanel are ever going to go back to their quality. Why would they? They know that their customers are willing to buy a lower quality product at a higher price. Baby, the reason I made this video is to talk about the mindful consumption. People are buying luxury for one reason and buying fast fashion for another reason, but we've gotten to the point where we're consuming them essentially the same way. And let me just say, people who are able to consume luxury items the same way that I or you consume fast fashion are in a very privileged state. I am not that privileged, but there are a lot of people who are that privileged, and we see them all over YouTube. And I think it's making a lot of people feel like, oh, they're just like me. I don't think there's anything wrong with luxury. I do think we need to take a step back and think about how we are consuming luxury. So most people have taken a step back and really started to think about how they consume fast fashion. I appreciate that. I myself have said I'm trying to break up with Zara because Zara ain't good for the environment. She's not good for my pocketbook. Zara doesn't have a good resale value. The only upside to Zara is that she's cute on camera. The items that I want to wear day in, day out are of a higher quality. So that's why I want to get away from that. Especially in the luxury community, we've decided as a collective that we're going to be more mindful of how we consume fast fashion. People want to do it in an ethical way. I know somebody's going to jump into my comments like, not everybody can afford to cut out fast fashion. I totally get that. This is for the luxury community. These are the people who have the privilege and the access. The luxury community is creating a lot of trends. If I think of the Daniel Lee Bottega Veneta era, the luxury influencers set Instagram ablaze, and then regular people like myself went and purchased it. And then there are people who were not into luxury and who even maybe thought the bag was ugly, but it was so ubiquitous they ended up buying dupes because they realized, okay, this bag is actually really, really easy to style. I think luxury is to be enjoyed. Fast fashion has the reputation of being something that you buy and discard quickly. A lot of people feel that because they're buying luxury, they're being responsible because nobody's going to throw away a luxury handbag or a jacket. But what's happening is a lot of these things are ending up at pre-owned shops. Brands like Hermès are very conscious of the number of Birkin bags that they make. I think I read something where there have only been 300,000 Birkin bags made. Nobody knows the exact number actually still exists because, maybe Hermès needs to do a Birkin bag census, incentivize people to allow their Birkin to get counted. But a lot of people have that perception of like, it's a luxury item, nobody's going to throw it away, I'll just resell it. But a lot of these items are sitting in pre-owned shops waiting for people to buy them. I was watching a vlog of people shopping for pre-owned luxury items in Asia, I think Japan. The amount of pre-owned luxury handbags just sitting behind glass like orphan children kind of made me feel sad because I'm like, there's all this stuff. So I think that there's so many ways we can be more mindful. A brand like Hermès is more than likely not going to succumb to this, but all the other brands are going to keep giving us what we want. It's a very dysfunctional relationship. We have power in this. Like people feel like, oh, well, the brands are doing this. No, the brands keep lowering the bar to see if we're going to buy, and we are. I do think that if we continue to consume luxury the same way we do fast fashion, we're going to have a problem. Luxury in 2030 will not be the luxury that we knew in 2022. So those are my thoughts about, is luxury becoming fast fashion? Because the luxury community is becoming more mindful of how they consume fast fashion, I do think we also need to look internally and say, how am I consuming luxury? I said a lot, so let's get in these comments and talk. If you're interested in things that are driving me into being more of a conscious luxury consumer, I'm going to link my video on luxury minimalism here. All right, see you next time. Bye.